Welcome back, everybody, to Hoops with Noops. Of course, I am Alex Noops Christensen, brought to you on behalf of the fine folks at FTN. Make sure you sign up. Go to ftnfantasy.com. A lot of great betting, a lot of great fantasy, a lot of great DFS. There are good tools, there are good articles, and my favorite part, the FTN Bets Discord, where you get into, there are plenty of channels, one for each sport. People are not only talking about what's happening, but also discussing betting ideas. There's plays that go through there. It's one of the best communities that you can find online. So make sure you sign up now. Take a look down there at the bottom. We've got a code to get you a little bit of a discount. And of course, we're here to talk NBA basketball. It's an NBA Cup Tuesday. That means all these games count towards what last year was called the in-season tournament, now the NBA Cup. We've got everybody. They're broken into a few groups. The winner of those groups moved to a March Madness style, smaller bracket tournament, if you will, with the final being played in Las Vegas. It was really fun last year. And it's one of those things where, yes, this does not matter as much as the NBA playoffs, the NBA finals, things like that. But we're taking a time of the year, November and December, where basketball games have gotten to be pretty rough. There wasn't as much competition, as many teams pushing really to win those games. This at least gives a little incentive. And we saw last year it mattered. Several teams pushed harder. I'll talk about some of those and how that impacts how we're going to handicap some of these games. But we just had an opportunity to have better, more competitive basketball. So say what you will about how kind of silly it is that the Los Angeles Lakers, the team with the second most NBA Finals victories, hung a banner for their NBA Cup title. Again, it probably does deserve to be up there with the actual championships, but it's still fun, and it still gives us a good reason to get in here and handicap some basketball. So let's get into the games. Of course, as always, like I said, make sure you sign up for FTN, get in the Discord. You get these picks as quickly as I can put them out. They've been out there for probably about an hour at this point as I finish and sort of prep to do this. So not only a great community, but you get access to all this stuff ASAP. We'll talk about two games that I have bets in, and I'll cover the rest in Not for Noops, where I just try to give you a lay of the land and give you some ideas, even though I don't see value in. We'll get started here with the Charlotte Hornets, who go to visit the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets 3-point favorites, the total at 222. I think this is a spot where you look at a Charlotte Hornets team that has had some pretty high highs. You know, they've had a couple good wins this season. They've really shown out, but there's just no consistency to this team, and it's been really tough. LaMelo Ball is scoring points in bunches, but only shooting 43% from the field to do that. His assist to turnover ratio is 1.5 to 1. That means for every 3 assists he has 2 turnovers. He's really got to clean that up. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that is pervasive throughout this Hornets team that faces a Brooklyn Nets squad that is, in a lot of ways, just a better version of them. LaMelo Ball is a more talented player than Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder, but put those two together and you get similar output with much greater efficiency and impact. At the same time, the Hornets have some very talented wings. Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges are probably better long-term prospects than what the Nets have, but they still have plenty of good veteran players, guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, already good players that can be two-way guys. They defend several positions. They shoot well. The Nets have struggled against teams because they don't really have a center. Nick Claxton is out tonight. Ben Simmons will probably start at center, and you'll see a lot of small ball lineups. The Hornets don't have a center either. The Hornets have tried things like Taj Gibson. Yes, the same Taj Gibson who entered the league in 2009 to play for the Chicago Bulls at 39 years old, started for the Hornets the other night. It's just a really tough spot. I look at this Brooklyn team again at home. We're getting some value here. Now, they have lost 5 of their last 6 games, which is tough in the market. But I go back and look at those losses. It's to the Knicks twice. It's to the Celtics twice. This is the Cavaliers once. They're supposed to lose those games. The Knicks games were very competitive. So I think the market here has adjusted the Nets down, and I don't think that's appropriate given that they were games against much better teams. I have the Nets here actually favored by 7. So give me the Nets here. -3. I think that's a really nice bet. I would play, honestly, anything -4 or better. Again, the injury report looks clear. Brooklyn was a team that last year in the NBA Cup played hard and really covered the spread by more than expected and pushed late in games to win margin. Now, different coaching staff, I'm not sure they're as locked in, but I like this no matter which way you draw it up. My projections like this. The matchup looks good here. There's a couple extra little things here that just give me a reason to bet the Nets. So as crazy as I would have told you, if you had told me before the season that I was going to lay 3 points with the Brooklyn Nets in an NBA basketball game, I told you we're nuts. But here we are. This is what betting is all about, changing and finding value where you think there might not have been a while ago. Another game, the Oklahoma City Thunder go to San Antonio to play the Spurs. The Spurs catching 10 points at home with a total of 222 and a half. You may think to yourself, this is a huge number, but Victor Wembanyama is doubtful. Most likely will miss this game, also missed the last game, and the Spurs are just not any good without him. Without Wembanyama in their last game against the Dallas Mavericks, they won the possession battle. They won the free throw battle, shot 12 more free throws than the Dallas Mavericks, and again, had 3 extra possessions. Didn't matter. They lost the game by double digits. It was never really in doubt. And tonight, I think, is going to be more of the same. This Oklahoma City Thunder team, if you were to match the 10 best Thunder players, the 10 best Spurs players, I think the Thunder are better at every single spot there, if you were to kind of do it that way. They just are overwhelmingly more talented. They match up very well against this team where, the Thunder's biggest problem, Chet Holmgren, is hurt. Again, they would struggle against Wembanyama here. They don't have a player really big enough to kind of stay with him, but there's no Wembanyama, and Zach Collins certainly isn't going to make them pay. In fact, I think he might get played off the floor here by some of the small ball guys. Curious to see what either the Jalen Williamses could do against him. But I look at the spot. I have the Thunder favored by 14, almost 15 points, honestly, if I start to tweak down on a few things. They're a team that pushes hard, generally crushes bad teams like this. And last season showed us that in the NBA Cup, they cared. They covered the spread by over 5 points. Again, not just winning games, but covering. Again, as favorites, beating that spread by over 5 points. It's a really big margin. I think we see more of that tonight. Again, my model likes them. I've got them 14-point favorites. I love the matchup here. And we get that little cherry on top of the Sunday of it being the NBA Cup. And I think the Thunder are going to be pushing hard here through the end of the game to win this by as many points as possible. Give me the Oklahoma City Thunder minus 10. Should be able to find that everywhere. In fact, it looks like it's even bouncing back to 9.5, but 10, 11, that all looks good. I might even sprinkle some alt spreads. I'll add that in the FTN Bets Discord if I do bet it. Those are the 2 games I like, but real quickly, just to kind of help you out, not for noobs. I'm noobs, of course. It's not every game that I like. They're just not all for me. And these are the games that I'm not betting. Just want to help you understand why and what I might do depending on how the scenarios go. Best game of the night. The Cleveland Cavaliers go to Boston. The Celtics are 5.5-point favorites. The total sits at 234. This is probably a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. The 2 best teams in the East so far this year by some margin. The Cavaliers, the best record in the NBA. The Celtics have not played as great as you might expect them to, and how they have over the last season or two, but still a very good team. And what tonight bothers me about the Cavaliers, Isaac Okoro and Karis LeVert are questionable. Now, Okoro is more of a defender, LeVert more an offensive player, but that's 2 wings. Those are 2 small forwards that play big minutes for this team. And when you have 2 injuries like that at the same position, it can make things really tough, especially against a team in Boston that has two of the best wings in the NBA, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So if Okoro and LeVert can play, I might look at maybe a Cavaliers money line. I think they can actually win this game outright. I'd rather just play them to win than take the points, if I'm being honest, but can't really do anything right now. Speaking of big injuries, or, well, not injuries, but lack of player availability that makes it hard to handicap games, the Denver Nuggets go to Memphis, where the Grizzlies are 5.5-point favorites. The total sits at 224.5. Nikola Jokic is away from the team, awaiting the birth of his firstborn child. That's supposed to happen any day now. As far as I understand it, it hasn't happened yet, so I don't expect Nikola Jokic to be here tonight. Without him, this Denver team is a mess. Jamal Murray has taken a big step backwards and just cannot carry this team night to night. Michael Porter Jr. has not advanced. They really miss Aaron Gordon as well. He was a good sort of third, fourth scorer and a really great defensive player. So this is going to be a tough spot. Memphis without Ja Morant, still a very good team. I think they deserve to be favorites here. Just nothing I can do. If Jokic can somehow play, maybe Denver gets into it here, but I don't see any reason to really be betting this game. The New Orleans Pelicans go to Dallas to face the Mavericks. The Mavericks 12.5-point favorites, the total 222. Luka Doncic is questionable. And it's hard to tell whether the market thinks he's going to play or not, because the Pelicans are basically missing 5 or 6 of their 7, 8 best players. It's Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy is questionable, and not much else talent-wise. So even if Luka can't play, the Mavericks probably deserve to be double-digit favorites. If Luka can, this might get as high as 15. So again, just kind of a mess of a game here. Maybe a Pelicans team total under, something like that. But they've played pretty fast. And again, given that this is an NBA Cup game, the Mavericks might actually push pace at the end to try to get more points. So hard for me to know what to do in this game, although I do think Dallas kind of wins this by a lot. Just not sure how, and don't see any value again on a price that looks to me like the market thinks that maybe Doncic is in, or even if he's out, they don't really care. It's going to be Dallas by a lot. Final game of the night, the Los Angeles Lakers, another big favorite here, hosting the Utah Jazz. The Lakers laying 11 with the total set at 235.5. Absolutely should be a smash spot for a Los Angeles team that faces a Jazz squad with no center. Walker Kessler is out. There's not another player on the Utah roster that can defend the rim, that can clean the boards. The Lakers love to attack at the rim. This should be a big night for LeBron James, a big night for Anthony Davis. They should basically be able to get to the basket and do kind of whatever they want here. The Jazz, again, I think will struggle in this game, but given the way they've responded, a lot of teams, when they miss a player, they try to find a way to cobble something together to replace him. The Jazz know they don't have anyone anywhere near Walker Kessler, so instead have been starting John Collins, playing small ball and being a lot faster. I think that makes them a really dangerous team to fade, especially at the end of these games with double-digit points. The Jazz have plenty of shooting and could easily sneak into the back door here late. I do think this is a dominating Lakers win, but so does the market. I can't bring myself to lay the points, but I do lean Lakers. So those are the games I'm not betting. Of course, the ones that I do like, laying 3 points with the Brooklyn Nets. I think that they're in really good shape here against the Charlotte Hornets tonight. And the Oklahoma City Thunder should absolutely thump the San Antonio Spurs, who are without Victor Wembanyama tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, make sure you sign up for FTN. All the great tools, articles, data. There is just an absolute gold mine of stuff for you to go through. And of course, it gets you into the Discord where you can ask me any questions. Tag me at Noops Christensen. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'd love being in there and talking basketball with you guys. I'll be back next week in video form. Of course, Written Hoops with Noops will be back on Thursday. And don't miss the NBA betting show on Wednesday. Myself, Dane, the spitting statistician Martinez, and we rotate Sham Chowdhury and the prop god every other week. It's a great show. We really enjoy running the weave together as a trio. So check that out. And of course, subscribe to this channel. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It gives you access to a lot of great free stuff here. Best of luck and enjoy the basketball until we talk again.